currently judging the finals, so she will be with us as soon as she can. So in the meantime, just sit back and chill, and we'll be with you very shortly. All right, while we're waiting for Katie to get here, she's busy. Um, we are going to find the right piece of paper, and we are now judging the portrait, well, not judging, giving feedback on the Amateur Awards, 2025 New Zealand Amateur Photography Awards. I want to give special thanks to the Photo Warehouse for who are sponsoring us. Photo Warehouse are proud sponsor of the New Zealand Amateur Photography Awards. Photo Warehouse have been supporting New Zealand photographers since 1987, operated by real people who know and love cameras. 7 stores nationwide, plus an extensive range of new and used products online at photowarehouse.co.nz. Right, what we're going to do first is we've got 2 beautiful judges here, so we're going to get them to introduce themselves, and then we'll start getting on to a few photos. So go ahead, someone.
Hi guys, I'm Emma Steele. I'm a portrait photographer here in Christchurch. In fact, you've got 2 of us here, 2 locals. I'm a NZIPP Master 2 bars, and I've managed to get into the finals of a few categories at the Iris over the last 4 or 5 years, being illustrative, portrait open and animal. And I'm the current Asia Pacific portrait category winner. And I'm really looking forward to seeing these portraits. The standard is so high. You've done amazing, guys.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Shah Devine. I'm a portrait photographer based here in Christchurch. My background in photography started with weddings, which I photographed for around about 25 years, and then I've recently made the transition to concentrate solely on portraits. I'm a Master with Distinction with NZIPP and a Portrait Masters Associate. I've been part of NZIPP all of my photography career, and I've worked behind the scenes on the Honours Council, the accreditation team, and now out the front as a judge, which is a huge honour and something that I've been working towards for quite some time. I haven't seen any of your images yet, so I'm very, very excited to see what we've got lined up this afternoon. But from what I hear, the standard is incredibly high, so I'm very excited. So well done, all of you, for putting your work out there and opening yourselves up to critique. It's the best way for you to learn and grow as photographers. So congratulations to all of you that submitted work.
So, very, very exciting. Shah, we're just going to let you know, and everyone who's just joined us out there who hasn't watched any of the other ones, all the images were judged on a colour-corrected screens. Sorry, it's getting late in the day and my worms are getting all twisted. But the TV you are currently watching is not quite. So the blacks are a bit blacker and the whites aren't too bad, but the blacks are definitely darker. So if you're not sure, you can just ask me whether there is any detail in those particular things. But why don't we, while we're waiting for Katie, get stuck in, because you two are amazing, and we'll get some feedback on these top 25s. I'm very excited. So this image is the 24th equal, and it was highly commended. Congratulations.
Well done, photographer. I really love the way that you've placed her with the cloud behind her, her hat, which just gives it this fluffy, ethereal type, something extra, which is lovely. And she's dressed up beautifully. Probably taking a bit further, just her expression, maybe. I'm not quite sure what to read into her expression. It'd be nice to see something a bit more there, but a beautiful sky. It's just light and delicate. I think when we look at the highlights on her shoulder, it's obviously quite harsh light, so you've handled that really well. Congratulations.
Kat, if you want, only if you've got anything extra. And look, here's Katie. Hi, Katie. We're going to welcome you in. We'll quickly tell you the deal. We've got the top 25 images here in portrait category. And I didn't read out the description, which was rather slack of me, so I'll do that now, and then we'll get onto it. So the portrait category is for photographs of single subjects or groups, including studio photography, lifestyle imagery, and self-portraits, boudoir, beauty and fashion, social, family, culture, and environmental portraits. Portraits in pets and animals are eligible for entry in this category. Photographs of animals in their natural habitat may be better suited to nature category. Entries may be traditional and or interpretive portraits. So we've got the top 25 here. We're going through them, and then we get to the top 10, and they are in a random order, and we have no idea what their score was or where they placed, because that will come out later. So what we're going to do now, this is a really informal way that we can give all these amazing photographers a bit of really cool feedback where they can help them grow and come back next year with something better. So this image was 24th equal, and it was highly commended.
Congratulations. I love how you've seen the window and matched the texture of the walls and the bricks with the texture of the dog. That's quite genius. It's softened with the colour, the warmth of the collar, which is mirrored in the slight warm tones in the legs and up onto the ears as well. So it's really really well seen. It's a location that you could use more and and experiment with. There is just a slight lean, I think. I'm not sure if it's the screen or not. I think there's a slight lean just in that wall. So that's something that you are able to address and just provide a little bit of straightening in there, just so that those leading lines don't throw off the image. But look, really well done. The image looks sharp and crisp, and that's a great skill to have, particularly when you're photographing animals, to get that eye and that nose sharp. So well done.
Before we go to the next one, Shah and Emma introduce themselves. Katie, can you just tell our audience who you are and a little bit about yourself? Sorry, dropped you in the deep end and I didn't even give you any warning. Poor Katie, she comes to New Zealand from Australia and now we're just dropping her in the deep end.
And I didn't even get to hear you guys do it first. I'm Katie Collenberg. I am primarily a family portrait photographer. From Australia. I've been shooting families and little kids for 17 years now. I don't know what else to say. I'm a new NZIPP member, and this is my first time coming over to New Zealand to judge, so that's about it.
And I've heard Katie judge. She's legendary.
Oh, thank you.
All right,
I am fast.
You've sat down before I've even had a look.
Yeah, they crack the whips in Australia. We don't get to just dilly-dally around.
Yeah. No, we're nice here. We're far more relaxed.
You're way more chill. I love it.
All right, so this image was 23rd and it was highly commended.
This has got some really beautiful emotion. I love the perspective of just seeing him and his hands and his face. I think it's just beautiful, honest storytelling. I don't know that I can really find a way to improve it, possibly just a little more space around the outside of the image. Might tell us a little bit more about the environment or the time and place. But yeah, it's emotive and really honest, and I love that.
Just quickly, I really love the lace and that where it's coming over the dad's hands and his gruff, hairy hands, and then you've got this really delicate material. It's really really speaks to the relationship and the strength of the dad and the daughter. I'm just wondering whether there's a little bit of loss of highlight in the sky, but other than that, beautifully handled.
This image got 22nd and was awarded a silver. Congratulations.
This image is quite moving, even though it is stationary. But emotively, the angles that you have created here is paramount to solid, good portraiture. The triangle shapes that we see between his hand on his leg and the other hand on the other leg, it just gives us an interesting dimension. His expression is like he's looking into your soul. It's quite piercing. The detail that you've managed to capture in the arms with the veins and the honesty in his body has been very sympathetically and carefully crafted and handled. So congratulations. I think if you're going to, if there's anything that I would suggest is perhaps just showing a little bit more of his body on the left-hand side so he doesn't look quite so cut off. And you're just about there in terms of Rembrandt lighting, which is that wonderful inverted triangle that appears in the shadow side of the face. It's just kissing the outside of his cheek there. So if he'd just turned his face just a little bit more, we would have had that beautiful homage to Rembrandt, which is the fundamentals of why we shoot the way we do and the way we follow light the way we do. So congratulations, it's well deserving of a silver.
This image was 21st and it was awarded with a silver award. Congratulations.
Congratulations to the photographer for your silver. This is an interesting image. I mean, there's obviously a story to it that I'm not quite sure I'm getting with the sunflowers, guess they're hanging up to dry, but they're hanging upwards. She's got some, I'm not sure what the bag is behind her, and there's obviously some bright light somewhere, and yet it's fairly flat light over her face, but it's definitely intriguing, and I'm loving the textures and everything. But does anyone else have a story in there or something to add?
Yeah, I'm a wee bit flummoxed like you are, but I think that that's perhaps the image's strength, is that it's making us think about what is potentially going on here. The narrative isn't obvious. So perhaps the cleverness of it and why it was awarded a silver is that it is quite thought-provoking. We're not quite sure what we're being asked to critique here, but it has a certain something which I think is actually quite compelling, because it's making us question what we're seeing and why we're doing that. So well done. I think just to sorry.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry, just to finish off, just to make sure that when you are constructing your narrative, that it isn't too much in your head, and that you can actually give some clues to the judges as to what your intention is.
Thanks for that, Shah. This next image was 20th, and it was awarded a silver award. Congratulations.
This is really striking in its design. It's very graphical, and for that reason, I think it's easy to stay in the image and to not sort of be dragged away, to kind of be quite compelled to keep looking and searching for meaning. Obviously, there's like earth or dirt on the left, and then water in the middle. I'm not 100% sure of the other one. Maybe that's planets or the sky. And I can't say that I'm certain of the meaning overall, but I don't really mind. I don't mind being provoked by something and not understanding it entirely, because there's always something to love. And in this particular instance, the choice of black and white, the vertical placement, vertical crops, and just the very like neat, symmetrical, even design of the overall piece is really, really drawing me in and keeping me there. Well done.
Just to quickly add, yeah, I'm really enjoying this as well. I wish I did understand their narrative, because I feel like they're trying to tell us something and I just haven't got it. But with the holes on the image on the right, there's one big one in the middle, sort of above tummy button level. It's really bright, so maybe just tone that down a little bit. But intriguing. Well done.
So just quickly too, I'm just wondering if it is earth, sea, and sky. And also, when you're putting a triptych together, I'm not sure if it's the screen or not, but does seem to be a little bit of colour difference between the three of them. So just make sure that when you're going to submit something like this, that you do print it off ahead of time, and have a good look at it to make sure that those tones are replicated from one image to the other, because that adds an extra degree of technicality and can elevate you in award categories. Competitions.
This image was 19th and was awarded a silver award. Congratulations.
Really beautiful eye contact from the primary subject here. Just real connection with the photographer and with the camera. I love the little hand coming around, or the fingertips. It's just very, very engaging. I would love to see a little more of the other child. I can't quite tell what they're doing. I want to see their face a little more. So that might have just been a really possible shift of angle and perspective on behalf of the photographer, just to bring that second subject into the story a little more. But well done.
Yeah, engaging with that eye contact, the wee girl, super cute. Just her shoulder, the t-shirt there, it looks a little bit bright compared with the rest of the image. as does the top of the cup with the wee boy. But really enjoy this image. I wonder where they are. I almost feel like they could be on a farm, and the parents have just locked them in the dog kennel for a minute while they get a job done or something. So it's great capture. Well done.
This image was 18th and it scored a silver award. Congratulations.
This is quite a unique capture. We've just come from the wedding category today, and this would have sat in there quite comfortably.
Yes.
It's a very unique way of presenting the bridal party. It's not something that I've actually seen in our professional awards, the way that this has been presented. So I would have to really applaud you for that. It's well deserving of a silver. There's really, really lovely connection with the bride and the groom. You've kept the bride's arms off her waist, which shows off that beautiful shape, body shape that she has, and also showing off the beautiful dress that she's obviously spent a lot of time and effort, energy and effort to wear and bring to her day. It has a really, really lovely movement. Perhaps maybe the sky's a little bit big. We could have cropped it, we bit tied it to the top of the clouds. But and the bottom is quite heavy with no detail there. But very, very interesting capture. Well done. I'm really impressed with that.
I just wanted to add, beautiful light on the main couple in comparison. It's really cleverly done. Just watch your cloud highlights as well. And I'm really enjoying the silhouette figures. I was just looking at each of them, and the one which is quite interesting. One of the second girl closest to the bride almost looks like she's in a moon boot, but she's still rocking it. Yeah, and each of them seem quite individual, which is really nice for the couple because they're obviously their closest friends. So well done.
I also think just quickly that it could actually be two images. You could actually separate the bride and the groom and have them as an independent image, and also have the bridal party as a separate image, which I think is actually quite genius. So well done.
This image was 17th and it scored a silver award. Congratulations.
This has a real visceral quality about it. Like, I feel like I could smell the pipe and kind of, I don't know, there's something sort of grimy about it. Maybe it's my idea or my cliche of, what this guy might smell like. But he's got that rough kind of look about him, and I feel like I could, just feel what it's like to be in this room. And I think that's just been done by really clever use of lighting and the mood, his mood and the choice of the angle being looking away from us. And yeah, those things have combined together really beautifully. It's maybe a little hot around the face in terms of the brightness, and that could be toned down slightly. But yeah, overall, I just think this is a very high impact image with a lot of qualities that just really elevate our experience of it.
Thank you, Katie. This image was 16th and it was given a silver award. Congratulations.
I'm really enjoying the styling of this image. It's very interesting, and I'm really grateful that you've taken the time for the positioning, particularly of the beaded headpiece over the subject's eyes, because we can see them quite often. Positioning wise, you can cover up the pupil or something like that, and it sort of detracts from the way that we view the image. The repetition of the dots right throughout the whole image has been well thought out and very, very clever. What is also rewarding in this image is the skin tones are reflected really well by the background. That little bit of highlight behind the subject just helps separate it from the background, which I think is actually really, really, really well done. It has a very harmonious feel, and very worthy of a silver. I think if you're going to do anything, perhaps maybe just lifting those blacks just a little bit at the bottom, but that could be the screen that we're looking at, as it's not colour calibrated as we know, and there's a little bit of a highlight on the nose there that could be addressed. But in terms of styling and the way that this is composed and put together, it's been done very, very well to a very high standard. So congratulations.
Yeah, well done, photographer. It's really engaging, his look and or their look and what they're going through possibly. One thing to watch is just that top hand when you're presenting the back of the hand, if it can, almost the flat back of the hand, it's nicer to have it on a bit more of an angle. But beautiful placement of the hand down below. Well done.
This image, very playful image, was 15th and was awarded a silver award. Congratulations.
This is so beautiful. This colour palette just makes you want to dive right in. Kind of reminds me of like, I don't know, ice cream or a milkshake or something. And just so beautifully matches this dog. And how gorgeous is he or she with the one floppy ear and this divine tail that reminds me of like a Dr. Seuss character or something. It's just, everything about this is beautiful. The only little thing that I could suggest to elevate it would be to just take a little bit of the foreground away, the area with the darker, sort of more out of focus. I just don't think it really kind of adds anything to the image, and it could just start from the beautiful pink and where the reflection starts. But yeah, well done, really beautiful.
The other thing with pet photography, and this is just a small thing to keep an eye on, and that's a bit of a pun, sorry, but as eye highlights, it would have been easy to replicate the little highlight in the dog on the left-hand side into the eye of the right, just to give that side some life. Otherwise, the eyes can look a little bit empty, a little bit soulless. But the capture is absolutely superb. I would have hated the job of cleaning up this dog after this event, because you can guarantee that this wouldn't be the first time that he's crouched down to this level. So good on you for getting down to the dog's level and also keeping the horizon straight. It's been really well seen and well deserving. So congratulations.
This image was 12th and it was awarded a silver award. Congratulations.
I think we're all a little bit gobsmacked at the moment because we've been presented with something that is takes a minute to take in and to reconcile. It's been very cleverly put together. It doesn't quite match in places, and I feel that if those little lip indiscretions were just warped a little bit and just shaped a little bit so that they did match, particularly in the two central images, because that's where your eye goes. But it's a really interesting and innovative way to do a family portrait. And you can see the similarities. And I love the fact that the eyes are all on the same plane, which is actually very, very clever. So well done for presenting something quite unique and quite arresting. Well done.
Yeah, well done, photographer. I just want to mention the one on the left. It's slightly green tone to it, so just make sure the tones match. Whereas it's slightly more magenta in the middle, just make sure they match. And the image on the right-hand side, the lady to the left, her nose is slightly out of focus. So it's just watching that as well. But yeah, thank you for giving us this image to make us really think.
Yeah, I just want to add too that I'm super impressed as well, because I've never seen anything quite like this before, and it's very brave to make choices that are out there. I also wonder if it is actually the screen that's giving us that tinge, because it was in another image as well that I thought the same thing.
Is it possible?
No, they look a little bit off on here, but not quite as much as the screen.
Okay.
And if you're wondering what that little, when I turn the image and you guys see it at home, and then there's that little bit of silence, the judges are sitting there soaking in your image and really enjoying it. So here we go. This image was 12th and it scored a silver award. Congratulations.
Congratulations on your silver award. This is a really cute little capture, and he's well placed within the frame, and I'm guessing it's snow. You get the atmosphere, you feel it's cold. The whites look well handled. Just wondering about his eye, if they just looks a little flat. Obviously, that was probably just how it was. But as far as taking it to the next level, there's a little bit, obviously the snow possibly in the back and the right hand bottom corner pulls my eye a little bit, but I'm loving the top part with his face. Is super cute.
Yeah, I just also wanted to add just how beautiful the detail is. It really gives you a sense of, the how small the animal is, and I guess the feathers, like the tiny, tiny little feathers, kind of match the detail that we actually see in the snow in the air. So, yeah, that's a really beautiful touch. Well done.
This image was 12th equal and scored a silver award.
Well done, photographer. I actually saw this, or was judging this in the online round, and I really enjoyed it when it came up. It's very quirky. These kids obviously have to, dig in and be part of their share. And I love the fact they've got the lolly, maybe to keep them going, a bit of sugar. And the wee girl on the left, she's in her Roxy slide-ons, which is probably not great health and safety, given that she looks like she's got something rather sharpish by her feet as well. And plus the clippers are just there as well. But I love that you've given us this to give us a taste of their life, which I really can feel. And although they're perhaps not overly pleased to be doing it, they are pulling their share. And even the D&G, I think that's a designer top she's got on the main girl. So with the rough gummies, it's a real yin and yang, and I really enjoy it. Well done.
This was 11th and it was scored a silver award. Congratulations.
This is beautiful. I love the graphical nature of how this has been presented. I don't think I've ever really seen a cat photographed like that before. Yeah, it's just, I want to give it a cuddle. It just looks so fluffy and cute. I think obviously how it's been photographed has really accentuated some of its best features, its whiskers and its tufty chest area. I think maybe just in terms of a little bit of constructive criticism, I think that being able to see the eye in the image on the left is possibly a little distracting, because I quite like the abstract nature of the two flanking images. And in the middle, I maybe just look at brightening the face just a touch, especially around the left-hand side. But yeah, this is really great original work and really interesting to look at. Well done.
Just quickly, the image on the left has actually changed the perspective of the cat, and I'm getting like rat vibes with the shortness of the ears and the length of the whiskers. It's almost like it's taunting the cat in the middle. The shape that you've created with the strong heavy lighting and the bright highlights to the side has actually created a really interesting shape. And even though we know that it's a cat, it's just it's almost like it's on a bendy pole, a little bit like a Dr. Seuss type figurine, which which you alluded to before, Katie. But yeah, very unique, very well done, and yeah, again, those eye highlights very, very important, particularly in the cat in the middle.
All right, now we're up to the top 10. Remember, these come in a random order. We don't know what the score is, and so really excited to see what we have in our top 10. This is the first one.
That's a lot of champagne.
Yeah. I was thinking I could think of something better to do with that other than spray it in the air.
Oh my goodness! But the looks on their faces are absolutely appropriate for the nature of what they're doing. Most images that we see like this, everyone is covered, but I couldn't think of anything worse than having that sticky stuff all over my body,
nice
all
dress.
over my beautiful hair and makeup, and not discounting my frock as well. There's great interaction here with the guests above. Perhaps a little bit distracting is the orange panels in the far left. Perhaps if that was cropped out, and we perhaps it doesn't really need to be in the image as well. The building is tipping a little bit, so you could straighten that. And yeah, well done. I think it's a really good representation of this particular style and part of a wedding day.
Yeah, well done. This is well done for backlighting and all the effort that takes, and capturing the spray. That's amazing. Yeah, maybe as Shah was saying, that orange does pull your eye over. I mean, you could even just take the couple a little bit to the left, so you've just got the two windows above and make it quite symmetric, and just have those in the the couple. You wouldn't need the other windows lit even, and that could make it slightly stronger. But otherwise, it's amazing as it is. Well done.
Congratulations. This is the next one of our top 10. Kind of looks like my brother.
Your brother, did you say?
Yeah, my brother. I can say that because he'll never hear this.
Well done, photographer. Gosh, you really feel a little bit of solace, a little bit of a lonely soul in here, but beautiful detail in the eyes and all around the face. You can really feel that fur. And I like the negative space to the left. It adds to the loneliness and that feel. If anything, maybe a little bit more detail in the bottom of the fur and around a little bit on the back to separate it from the background.
There is a tiny bit
Is
in
there?
there. Yeah.
Is there? Okay.
Yeah, there is a tiny
well,
bit.
well done. I have no further comments.
Yeah, if you look on the screen in the blacks, there is enough detail that there looks like texture, and down around the back there, it could probably do with just a teeny tiny bit more, but it's pretty good.
Okay.
Don't be fooled by his expression. He's figuring out how to steal your iPhone and get whatever it is that you're eating out of your hand.
Like his little haircut.
Yeah, and he's got a great central part going on there too, which is which Emma just alluded to, which is fantastic. But yes, his look is soulful and a little bit mournful, but yeah, you just know that he's taken in everything that's going around, and do not be fooled by his passive demeanour. But congratulations, it's worthy of being in a top 10. Well done.
Thank you very much. And here's the next image.
Oh, I wanted to jump in on this one quickly just because I saw, sorry, I will let others talk.
Excuse me?
Sorry, just because I saw that I was prejudging it, and I really loved the mimicking with the lady in the picture, and the two real people. They're kind of like, oh, make my dress fit, do it up, whatever, and then you've got the picture on the right with the lady that's obviously got a corset, and back in the, when they were dressed, and then you got I just really loved the elements and the quarters and the Anyway, I'm not explaining it very well, but I really appreciated this image. Go, Shah.
I've never seen you move that fast. And that is testament to an image that has been well presented, that it can excite Emma to the point where she was right in there before we even had a chance to even take a breath. So you're absolutely bang on. It's I think that the thing that really moves me is the angst in her face, thinking, does this work? Does it make me look okay? Do I feel okay? And she does look okay. She looks amazing. But I think you're absolutely right. It's the way it's been cut like that, with the glass and the reflections. It's very, very well seen and well captured. So totally deserving of being a top 10 finalist.
Congratulations. That is a very cool image. Thanks for sharing it with us. And here comes another one from our top 10.
I have a bit of a fear of the water. And I have to really, really commend you on an image that has been well photographed and well seen. The reflection up above is almost, could be an image in itself. There's a softness and an airiness and a quietness, because when you're underneath the water like that, you don't hear an awful lot. And the fact that everything kind of works, like sometimes the fabric floats in the wrong way, or the hair isn't quite right, or someone else has dived into the pool in the background, the reflection is disturbed. But here, your eye is just wistfully moving around the image, and it's beautifully put together, and an incredible depiction for a maternity image. It's very, very well done. Congratulations.
Yeah, particularly love in this it looks almost like smoke.
Smoky,
Like I
yeah.
can't. I mean, underwater photography is notoriously challenging technically. I don't particularly like being underwater, so I would never try it.
No, neither.
But I'm always, really intrigued by it. But that I'm not sure what's caused or created that quality, but it's really beautiful, and it almost makes us think. Hang on, are we underwater or are we in the air? And I love that about it.
Thank you, judges. And here is the next image.
Gosh, congratulations, photographer, and to the model who's obviously been through a world of pain, and you can just see it how brave she is, and like, this is where I'm at. This has happened. I'm stronger than this. I don't fully know what's happened. Could take a guess, but I won't. I'll just say that it's beautifully lit. It's nice and tasteful and gentle, and it really, her look is really defiant to perhaps where her body is at. She's giving us that I am going to win, and I commend you for capturing this. Anything to elevate it? I'd just say perhaps a little bit more room at the bottom, just so all her fingers have a bit of space around them. But other than that, well done.
I just want to add, I really like the choice that the photographer's made to pose her in this particular way. That's a very classic portrait. I think that just gives it an extra edge too, in terms of superior visual communication, which is just very, it's really good. Well done.
Can I just finally add to the way that the image has been presented with the rounded corners, sort of mimics the shapes in her body, which I think just gives it that something, gives it like almost like that old-fashioned Polaroid type feel, which I think is quite tasteful and appropriate here. I would just also have a look just at her left eye and just pop a little highlight in there, just to create a little bit of life. But yeah, a very compelling and moving portrait. Well done.
And the next photo of our top 10 in the portrait category.
Katie, do you know what these birds are?
No,
No.
but I love birds, so
Yeah.
please tell me.
These are our mountain parrots. They're called kias. They're quite tame, and they're very cheeky and very naughty. And we should actually be called kias. We shouldn't be kiwis. Kiwis are shy, flightless, nocturnal birds. Kias are loud, brash. They've got bright orange pieces underneath their wings, and they steal your shit. and they rip off the rubber surroundings around your windows in your car.
Nice.
They have attitude. They're just the most coolest creatures. This image has epitomizes the colour and the vibrancy of the Kia. The detail on the feathers is absolutely beautiful. I think perhaps the only thing that I would have looked at with this image is just tidying up those little white dots that we can just see to the right, lower right of the bird's eye, and that little stray feather up the top and the little dots on the beak. but the detail has worked really, really well. There's perhaps a little bit of softness down towards the neck area there, but you would expect a little bit of drop off. But the eye is sharp, and that's where you want to look. So the background matches the colour palette of the feathers. So well done.
I just wanted to say too, given the character of this bird and how sort of brash it kind of is, and they've shot this sort of beautifully and soft, but all the details there. I think they've done so well in the capture. Well done.
And I'm pretty sure he's going to be like the monkey trying to look at what he can steal next.
Oh, for sure, 100%.
And the next one of our top 10. Congratulations to all these top 10.
I've had the pleasure of judging this image before, and it's as compelling now as what it was when I first saw it a month or two ago. It's a very interesting and almost quite disturbing portrait. The reflections are quite amazing, and the fact that we can't see her left arm sort of adds to that confusion of distortion, and perhaps we have some body dysmorphic feeling here. The blades have been well positioned, and it just makes you think, and it makes your eye wander, and it makes you just go round and round circles and really look at all the details. So well deserving of being a top 10 image. It's fantastic.
Yeah, it's very clever. It raises a lot of questions, which is great. It leaves us guessing, and that's not a bad thing. One of my questions is there a reason it's centred to the left? But, super clever, well done.
And here is the next image of our top 10.
Wow, the power and the movement and the colour and the pageantry in this image is quite outstanding. And the fact that you've been able to isolate the central figure from what is normally a performance with many people is quite stunning. You get a sense of culture and a sense of passion and determination and conviction from the movement and the powerfulness of the elements that have been included in the image. So it's she's a bit scary actually. Very scary. Scary but beautiful.
It's a really interesting presentation because it's a triptych, but the images are different sizes and different focal lengths, and that sort of, the left one's really strong, and she's strong and powerful and still, and then you've got all the movement, the power, and you're zoomed into that, to closer to her, and then you've kind of got the end, the finale, and all the flinging of the outfit. I'm not sure of the actual name, but that's beautiful. I love that as well. So it leads you through this dance or this performance.
Yeah, I think it's a brave choice, and I really appreciate that choice. As often we think that when you present images together like this, they should be quite uniform, but this is showing us different elements. So it's kind of a study of this dance performance, and I really appreciate that, particularly the last image because of the amount of detail that you can see. And when you're watching these things live, you're not always at a vantage point where you can actually see that kind of detail, like how ornate and stunning that costume actually is. So yeah, you get to see something in this image that we wouldn't be able to see even if we were live. So yeah, well done.
Thank you very much, judges. And this one is also in the top 10.
It's it's really cute. You can almost smell what the wool sheds smell like when you've had the shearing team in there and the Rousies sweeping everything up. But you can see that this child has been brought up in this environment, and everything about what they're wearing to the lolly in the mouth, which is probably mimicking someone who probably had a cigarette, I would imagine. I think the offhand gaze is kind of mimicked by the sheep, because the sheep just is so not bothered, and normally like they're struggling, they're kicking the floor, they're trying to get out of there, because like most of the time of their lives, the only time they've ever handled is when they're being shorn or being shoved into a truck. So yeah, it's a very strong environmental portrait.
I'm also quite struck by how clean this child looks when the environment is so messy, and I think that's really interesting and just adds an extra element to it.
Thank you, judges. And here we go. Here's another quite interesting image for you to look at.
I love chickens. I had a bantam when I was growing up, and I loved her. She was called Rosie. It looks very, very similar to this one. I really enjoy the fact that you've taken a concept that is normally more associated with dog photography and used it to photograph a chicken. Perhaps if the beak had just been slightly more open in catching that little bit of grain that you've popped in there, would have been just to elevate it just that little bit more, and just the head is just a wee bit close to those beautiful, beautiful feet. But the intent of the gaze is amazing, and the detail on the feathers is incredible. So well done.
Yeah, well done, photographer. I really like the shape too. Maybe a little close to the bottom, but it gives it a little bit of tension there. But it's got a lovely sweep round, and so you sweep round and end up back at the beak and that grain, and then there's beautiful detail in the what do you call them? Not claws,
Feet.
just feet. In the feet. I thought there might be
Something it's a sign of a chicken you never ever see.
No.
Well, I was
and
about to say, like, I just can't stop looking at them. I'm like utterly fascinated, and they're kind of grotesque,
So
but also like really cool.
You've presented us with something that we wouldn't usually see, so thank you for that.
Cool. And congratulations to the top 10 and everyone in the top 25, to be in fact. We'll be doing the announcements of who the category winners are at 5 o'clock tonight, so not that far away, as well as announcing the 3 finalists for the New Zealand Amateur Photographer of the Year. So make sure you stick around to find out what that is. And if you're in Christchurch, come on down and come and look at some of our amazing things, photos in the exhibition hall. And we'll see you real soon. And thanks again to Photo Warehouse. You're wonderful. Thank you very much.